Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Royal Nugget. This is Sharon, your retirement coach diva, and I am extremely excited about our guests for this evening. And I'm not going to tell a whole lot about them because we're here to learn about the coaches behind Real Talk Coaching. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about who we have with us tonight. So I am honored to welcome these two powerful, heart centered coaches who are doing some great things and transforming lives. First, we have Coach Terri Hunter, who is a woman who is coaching philosophy is rooted and aligned with well being and helping others to choose themselves with intention. Coach Terri brings a beautiful blend of clarity, compassion, and truth that invites her clients to see what's possible beyond their fears and limitations. And then we also have Coach Tara Johnson, whose nurturing yet bold coaching style helps individuals connect with their identity, their voice, and their emotional freedom. Coach Tara is known for creating safe spaces where people can release the weight that they've been carrying and step into their next chapter with confidence and clarity. So, thank you, ladies, for being my guests tonight and being able to share who you are and what's behind the Real Talk Coaches.
Hey, thank you for having us. Glad to be
So,
here.
so we're going to, like I told you before we started, this is a very organic platform. We're going to just get started with getting to know who you are. And then from there, we'll just go and see what people put into the chat. So as we go on through this session, make sure that you are dropping into the chat your questions. And we will read. First of all, I'm going to ask Coach Tara if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Tara. Let's see. I've been coaching for approximately about 3 years, and as Sharon said, I really try to create safe spaces. I'm the type of person where I'm always interested in what someone's goals are, what your dreams are, where you've been, and where you want to go. I like hearing about your journey. I like hearing people's stories. It's what excites me and energizes me. I got into coaching years ago, really just after having a coaching session, and just seeing just how transformative coaching really can be in your life. It really is a space to realign yourself with your inner being. The loves and the things that you had when you were a child. My background is kind of a result of that, right? Like I love the color purple, so you see the color purple in a lot of things that I do. I carry purple with me everywhere, but it's just kind of a reflection of who I am, and I feel like that's what coaching does. It really helps people to really shine and just be a reflection of who they truly are, not necessarily what they do, but who they are when they walk through life. Yeah, so I'm just a regular old girl. I'm from Maryland. I grew up in PG County. Went to high school in PG County. Went to a community college. Studied mechanical engineering, and then after that, ended up employed with the government, and I've been a ocean engineer, physical scientist for the last 20 plus years. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I have two beautiful children. I have a lovely dog named Roxy that I love very much, that I enjoy spending time with. I'm really the type of person, I like nature. So I bring nature a lot into coaching. One of the examples that I like to give people is that, in coaching, we can do whatever you want. If you want to hug 1,000 trees in 100 days, then that's what we're going to talk about. And hugging trees is actually a really good thing. If you want to kind of ground yourself and just kind of get back to nature and being centered. So I'll just kind of stop there.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Coach Tara. And you know, there is I guess it's a National Hug a Tree Day.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, yes. All right, well, tell us about yourself, Coach Terri.
I'm supposed to go after that. So I am Coach Terry. I'm an ACC certified coach through the International Coaching Federation. I'm also a holistic life, career, and executive coach. And I have loved coaching since 2006. And my first certification was actually in Christian coaching. And over the years, I've taken different types of specializations in coaching through different avenues or whatever. But it wasn't until 2019 that I actually really started coaching. One of the things that I love about coaching is that it works. It works if you work it, right? The other thing I like is that it gives it gives the coachees or clients, we use those interchangeably, the opportunity to just talk, to give them that space to say what it is that they need to say, to think what it is that they need to think without someone else inserting their opinions or their views onto them. We all have the answers inside of us, right? And I truly and truly believe that. Now, um, coaching, when I was coached, it really was life changing for me in so many ways. And I don't think that I would be here had I not been coached. So that's how important it is to me. And it really speaks to me on that personal level, because I wish that I had a coach when I was really young, right? I wish that I had someone to trust, that I had the answers, that I needed in order to be a better person, in order to do better. And so now that's my mission, to make sure that if there's anyone out there who needs someone like me to just come and sit and partner with them, that's what I'm going to do, especially with single Black women, especially with young single Black moms, because I wish I had had that. And I grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland. I have a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice with an emphasis on advocacy, because really advocacy and activism is pretty much at the heart of who I am. I've always been the one to champion the underdog. And I've always wanted to see those who are considered the least of these actually grow and succeed, not for other people, but for themselves, because we were all put on this earth for a reason and a purpose. I have two beautiful kids. I have four beautiful grandchildren, and I fled Maryland to Pennsylvania to kind of watch them grow up. So that's a little bit about me.
All right, all right. Well, I just learned something about both of you. I did not know that you were an ocean engineer. and
Right.
I did not know, Terry, that you had a degree in criminal justice, with emphasis on advocacy. That is great about both of you. So I'm gonna be learning as we go through here. I guess I rounded out by saying, I'm born and raised in Washington D.C. So we have Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and D.C. all represented right here.
Yes.
So that's good. So everybody knows that we are all represented, proud of where we started off from, but we're also proud of where we are right now. So let's get into learning more about what brought you all into the space of coaching. You shared a little bit about it, but I want to know, like, as being an engineer, Tara, what about coaching really drew you into it? Let's start with that one. What drew you into starting to be a coach?
What drew me into being a coach was realizing that I was very strategic, but I didn't imagine enough. I had, because of my profession, because of going to school, I had become kind of very hyper focused and just, you know, being scientifically credible. So being very strategic, being very factual. And with coaching and going into coaching, it was kind of like you can shed. That is what you do, but it's not necessarily who you are. So coaching getting into coaching really kind of helped me see that while strategy is really good, there's also, a place for still just kind of that free spirit, that free imagination, and that kind of that free will, right? To just kind of do things outside the box. Um, in the scientific fields, you work inside a lot of structure and inside of boxes, and coaching is a space to really be outside the box. You're supposed, coaching is a place to dig a little deeper than automated responses or just kind of even what the facts are, right? The resonate with who you are, what you want to do, or where you want to go. And so, in living in that space, you limit yourself. And I like coaching because coaching removes those limits. And it really helps you to imagine and dream big, and think about things in a different space. As Terri mentioned, in coaching, you are whole and you have all of the answers. So you don't need to look to a book. You don't need to look to an equation. You don't need to look to a scientific principle, to find the answer. The answer is already resonated within you. It's about how you feel, how you want to be, and how you want to show up. So, in getting into coaching, I really wanted to help, especially people like me in the scientific field where we've kind of become so focused on the box, the facts, the points, and just kind of really remembering that that is not all of who we are. We can get back to being free spirits that make mistakes and have errors, or and take risks, and then learn from them or just love them, no matter how, no matter what the outcome is, knowing that it is who you wanted to be and what you wanted to do in that moment. So that's why coaching kind of resonated with me. I got into coaching again when looking at myself and the professionals around me, um, wanting to remind us to bring our whole selves in, to bring all of ourselves in. Um, you get to a place in your career, I got to a place in my career where being strategic and scientific wasn't quite enough. It worked, and it made me credible, and it made me a subject matter expert. But I was leaving a whole lot behind. I was leaving my purple behind, right? I was leaving who I was behind, and I was just numbers and facts. Um, when I opened up and showed the purple, showed the orange shirt, started talking about tree hugging and bringing sunflowers into the office and different things. It was just a different light. And it was a different light and energy that even ended up around me. I started seeing other people around me wearing more color. We started seeing more plants in the office, and just different things. And so with all of that, it was just like, okay, this is what coaching does. Coaching reminds you that you are a whole person and not just what you do. There are a lot of other aspects of you that you walk around with. Um, so let them show, let them breathe. And in coaching, that safe space that is created to really analyze and investigate that, to really be yourself and find your comfort zone. So that's why I got into coaching. I really got into it just because it was a place to be free, truly free, and to be myself, and to be comfortable and find my comfort zones and help others find their comfort zone, and bring that, everywhere they are.
Hmm. Hmm. That is that is great. That is great. I mean, you shared that how you found through coaching how you can be more authentic, and we know there's layers to that,
Right.
um, but how you can be more of yourself, in the office, and to start to share who you are at your comfort level. You didn't have to be totally transparent with everybody, but just what it felt like for you in that space, and how you could reimagine it and make it, brighter, not just for you, but how coaching allows it to impact others, even when they don't know they're being impacted by the coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So, Coach Terri, tell us how, with coaching, how that has transformed where you are in your space right now, because you did a transition. And so you can share as much as you wish about that. But how did that bring you to the space that you're in?
So, okay. I'm going to be honest here, be a little bit of transparent. One thing about coaching is you have to be curious and you have to be transparent, um, because how is anybody going to trust you with what they say if you can't be either one? And so, like hundreds of thousands of women earlier this year, I was pretty much pushed out of the workforce. And in my case, I was in the federal government and I loved working on DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. I was also an EEO program specialist. And, you know, all of those things totally align with who I am as far as fairness and equality and making sure that everybody has a level playing field, that we're all worth the same. Nobody is better than anybody else. It doesn't matter your income level. It doesn't matter whether or not you went to school, to college. It doesn't matter, whether you're a man or a woman, black or white. We're all on equal footing. And the reason that I believe that personally is because I am a Christian and my faith is my foundation for everything. And so, I was heartbroken that what I thought was going to be a career with longevity wasn't. And at the same time, I also know that there's a reason for everything. And so my heart has been with coaching for years. And, you know, sometimes you just have to step out on faith, right? So I was not initially looking to go into practice, as far as opening my own business, hanging my shingle as a coach, but everything around you, when everything around you just starts to work out. That was what was happening. And so um as the three of us decided that we really wanted to help current and former federal employees, you know, process these transitions, and as we decided to go ahead and offer group coaching sessions for them, it just opened me up more to, wanting to do this on my own, wanting to do what I know that I love and do what sets a foundation for people to be able to identify what it is that they would like to do and help them figure out on their own with us as just gentle partners how to get from A to B. I just, it's so me, right? I am generally a behind the scenes person, always been. I'm an introvert. And as part of that, I really like listening to other people's stories. I really like listening to people discover what makes them tick, right? Um, and you can do that with coaching. And you can get to know someone on that deep, deep level that you wouldn't be able to in any other capacity, other than being a therapist and a doctor, which we are not. And so I just felt like it was just time to step out on faith and do something that I know I've been called to do. Back in 2006, I prepared a mission, vision, and purpose statement for my life. And it started off as wanting to help single black moms just like me move forward in order to be the best mom, to be the best person that they were called to be, And that's always stuck with me. And so this is an opportunity for me to do that. I know coaching, like I said, has changed my life, and it gives me opportunity to um, see other lives changed. And I don't know, it's just that it's just really at the heart of me. Like, as I've gotten older, I realize what's important in life, and it is doing what you're called to do, enjoying your life, every little day, every day that you have. And um oh, I'm getting emotional. But it is really about how you live your life, the people who touch your life, the people you surround yourself with, what you do, so that when you're like 90 years old and you're thinking about how you've lived your life, you've lived it in the way that honors God, that honors those around you, and that honors yourself. And that's what I feel coaching helps to do.
We can't hear you, Coach.
And that's why it's live because we're doing things in the moment. We are doing things in the moment. I'm getting all deep, and you cannot hear me. No worries. So I was just saying thank you, Coach Terry, for sharing that. That was powerful, and appreciate you. Just sharing how it really impacts you. I completely understand about how it can affect us as individuals, even though our clients don't always see how it impacts us, how their transformation, how their ahas, um, or just something that they might say that they don't think much of can be impactful for us as a coach and could help us transform into moving into that next step. So, Coach Terry, you mentioned about Real Talk Coaching. You mentioned about how we came together earlier this year. This year, 2025, has been life changing for hundreds of thousands of people across
Yes.
the federal government as well as outside the federal government. But our focus had been on federal employees who were like us, who were either still in the federal space, who had left the federal space because they made a decision that at this time it wasn't right um, for us as an individual to be in that space. Some of them were left because they were forced to leave. And we wanted to make sure that we heard them, gave them a space to be able to share what it is that they were going through. And we were able to provide that. We've been able to provide that, and we've seen the impact of those who have been part of our coaching program. And so I would like Coach Tara, tell me one thing that has impacted you by being part of Real Talk Coaching. And I do want to say and give kudos to Coach Tara who came up with that acronym of real reimagining everything about life, because I know they've heard us say reimagine and this, and we'll throw it out there here and there like it's a private joke, but it really is what we are doing with ourselves, because we never expected to be in this space when January 1st of 2025 came. And neither did those who have come to us through the coaching program. So tell me, Coach Tara, what is it that has impacted you the most through Real Talk Coaching?
It really has been seeing transformation in ourselves, in our coaching program, and in the clients that we've had and that we've helped. Um, as a program, right? Like we came together, Real Talk, reimagining everything about life. R.E.A.L.Talk Coaching. It came together really out of to be advocates, wanting to be active in what was happening, and really just kind of wanting to find where do we have some control, and be of service to those of us, to all of us, because we were all impacted one way or another. Um, I'm still in the federal space, but the space is different. Um, it is different when you lose a lot of people that you didn't expect to lose in an instant, right? And that was traumatizing to some degree, and that changed things. And building R.E.A.L.Talk was really a space for me to feel like I had some control. It was a space where I felt like, we could really be of service to folks, to help them identify what was next, to help people understand that, we didn't, this was not an end all be all, right? It was an opportunity. But it took even myself some time to see this moment as an opportunity to grow something new with R.E.A.L.Talk Coaching, and with the R.E.A.L.Talk coaches. So I think the thing for me has really it's been transformative. It's been a way to be of service in a space where it is controlled by us. It's not a space that can be taken away, or that can be, someone can just decide with a stroke of a pen, or with an idea that we no longer can gather and be of service to the people who look like us, or who have shared experiences that we do, or who even just align with just wanting to be good, genuine human beings and live, full, purposeful lives, as Terri mentioned. So that I like the space because we own it. It is our space, and it is our space to do well and to do good, and to walk in a path that really helps other people to be their best selves, and to reach their goals and to do the things that they want to do. And we've seen that. We've seen that in the clients, right? We've seen them grow individually and as a group. We saw them come together, and through our program be able to be of support to one another, as they transformed into as they transitioned into these next chapters of their lives, into doing new things and reimagining what was next. To see the joy and the light come back to some folks, who felt in a moment that they didn't have it, and they didn't necessarily know if the light was coming back. But with coaching, with asking those, thought-provoking questions, those questions that go a little bit deeper than just, how are you today, um, really brought them through, and really brought us through, right? Because brought me through. Seeing them challenge themselves, seeing them try new things, adopt new ideals, adopt new practices, and just go out on new adventures. Um, it was energizing. It is energizing, and it helps me, one, to be like, okay, this coaching is working, right? It is really impactful, and it really is a service that helps other people. And then it energizes me to just remember to keep going as well, to keep discovering, to keep reimagining, to keep, being open to new possibilities, because that's really what coaching helps you do. It's one of the things it helps you
Yes, yes. So through Real Talk Coaching, we have evolved to have the Real Talk Coaching podcast. And Coach Terri has been excellent with making sure that we are on point, that is
do.
looking beautiful on the website. Once you go to the YouTube channel, so I want everybody to make sure that you subscribe and like, so every time an episode is dropped, because Coach Terri makes sure that is done flawlessly.
Mhm.
I want to find out from you, Coach Terri, how has doing the podcast been able to enhance who you are? How has it impacted you?
So first, I will say, most people, especially my family, they know that I am an introvert. Like, I don't really, I, I don't do this stuff, right? I don't even take pictures on Facebook. Like, I got like literally have 52 friends right now. And that's
Well,
up
we're
from
gonna
being
change that tonight. We're gonna make sure that
right.
people start finding you, liking and following you on LinkedIn and Facebook and everything. Both
And
of them, yes.
that's literally up from like I had 50 for a long time. Um so I gained two, and that was like, but and so it has taught me to be courageous even when it's scary. And these times call for some courage of some type, one type or another. Not everyone's version of courage is the same. Not everyone's version of what you're going to do is the same. But it really did. These were challenges that really stretched me. Like the group coaching, that was like cake, right? That was what we were doing. Um, but I also realized that it may not have been enough because not everyone was ready to come to group coaching. And so it was like, well, how else can we help them? Just in the privacy of their own home, they can just watch us. They don't have to be a part of the group. And so, just being able to do that, just being able to go public with anything, um, telling my stories, telling our stories, even just giving our opinions, even if it's through a coaching lens, um, has been a challenge that I have been meeting, right? And then, well, how are we going to, wrap this up and make it look pretty? And so that's where just going in and playing with intros and outros and audio and editing and splitting and all that stuff and doing voiceovers, all of that is new. All of that was learned in love, you know and so it's saying I've been learning a lot about myself, basically. You get to an age where, like, I'm in my early 50s now, and I'm just like, who am I supposed to be scared of? Like, who are these people? Who are these people that I'm supposed to be scared of? Or what could possibly happen? You know, um, when you're doing something, when you're doing something out of love, when you're doing something out of service, right? So, and then working with the two of you, it's like so natural. It just reminds me of how we were together, at work. And so that's not the hard sale. The hard part is just uploading that long video up to YouTube, and trying to figure out maybe in the future other can do that. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, look, I wasn't looking for a specific answer, but I appreciate
Okay.
I appreciate the answer that you gave, and I do want to make sure that those of you that are watching, please drop into the chat any questions or comments that you might have for Coach Terri and Coach Tara. We're not here just to talk among ourselves. We do want this to be interactive with those of you who are watching. So even those who are watching in the future, please make sure that you leave a comment about what you heard during this session so we can know how impactful it was to you. So, Coach Terri, I'm going to go back to you because I know that there's more to Coach Terri than being the coach. You talked about being a mom and a grandmother, and you also talked about some of the things you did before you started coaching. But we know that things going on now, and I would like for our audience to know what is it that you're doing now, because you kind of alluded to it, but you didn't go into full scope on what you're doing with your Coach Terri business. And so share with us about your Coach Terri.
Well, okay, so I've been I've been working with different organizations to kind of bring some emphasis to wanting to help, in particular, Black women who may need that extra, may need coaching, but may not have the extra funds to do it. And so I am definitely doing that. And in the meantime, I decided to go forward with my own podcast called Rising Forward with your coach Terri. And the reason that I wanted to do that was for those who still don't know what coaching is or how it can help them and impact, and just be able to talk about things in particular, in this case, when it comes to the 300 and some odd thousand, which I keep saying 300,000 Black women who've been pushed out of the workforce, but really, I think it's closer to almost 500 now, depending on who you talk to. That's a lot of people out of the workforce, specifically Black women. And there's that genuine and unique component because we were targeted, you know? And so where do you go with that? If that's what you're dealing with, if this isn't just a regular, bunch of layoffs, but there was purpose behind it. Who do you go to? What do you think about? How do you survive with that? And so I don't have any of those answers, but I did want to create a space where Black women in that situation, like me, have been pushed out of the workforce and they needed just someone to champion them, someone to say, I see you, girl. I see you, sis. And I understand what you're going through. And this might be that time where you might want to open up that business, or this might be that time where you want to do some freelance work. This might be that time where you're like, you know what, I'm done with it for now. I'll come back later. I'm going to go do something else right now. But either way, you have a space to go to. You have a whole sisterhood of women just like you, going through the same things or similar things as you, who's just right here. And so I plan to have like special guests and everything, but what I won't do is exploit Black women's pain or trauma. That's not the purpose of that. Um, and I try to speak from a place that protects that sacred space in Black women, where they don't have, where we're not um, shining a spotlight on their trauma, but we are discussing that it exists, but we're not just leaving it there either. You know, we will all eventually rise up and move forward because that's what we've always done. That's what our ancestors have done. It is like literally in our DNA. So that will happen. But there's a process to it. And I just want to be there to help Black women with that process.
So tell those that are listening and now and in the future, how can they learn more about you and where they can find your podcast?
So the podcast is Rising Forward with your coach Terri. It's on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube Music as well. Um, the actual each episode, because sometimes I'll do like little check-ins and little things. Those aren't on the YouTube Music, but the podcast, the episodes themselves are on the YouTube Music too. Um, and they can email me at But at let me say, wait a minute, hold up. Hold on. I just created the risingforward.net, but I'm not really like finished with that. And so I'll probably say Terri at yourcoachterri.com.
Okay.
Excuse me. And in the meantime, um, oh, Sharon, I know it's the other thing that you're talking about, community. So I actually For the 300,000 Black women who've been pushed out of the workforce, I created a space on Mondays between 7 and 8 through a Zoom call called Community. And that is for them to be able to tell their stories if they want. You know, I can pray for them or with them if they want. We can just hang out and just chat or talk about resources, specific community. I've kind of now moved into a women's group. And so, because that space is so precious, that I don't want just anyone to have the Zoom call. That does not mean that no one else outside of that is invited. You can hit me up at Terri at yourcoachterri.com, and or you can hit me up at community Terri at community.net, and I'll give you the link. But yeah, that one, that's really my baby right there. So, and the thing about it is, you know how you, my motto is, if you build it, they will come. I just feel like God keeps telling me that. And so in this case, you know, I was like, okay, I'll build it and we'll all be together as a group and sing kumbaya. But no, women just pop in when they want to and just say what they want to say and then pop out. And so that's how it's become. So they've made it what they wanted it to be. So, and I'm totally happy with that because it's not about me. In that case, this is about them. And so if you're interested, yeah, Terri at yourcoachterri.com or Terri at community.net.
Okay, well, we have a question in the chat for Coach Terri. And it says, Coach Terri, are you able to solicit your services to other business organizations, letting them know they can refer their people or staff to your coaching?
Good question. I have not really advertised.
We're going to say yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and more yes. Exactly. Yes. We answer for Coach Terri. Yes.
Yeah, I've been thinking about what that looks like. Like, how you gonna have a business and then not even advertise it, right? And I've been kind of thinking about what that looks like going into 2026. And so, yes, I will be doing that. And one of the reasons why I'm working with different organizations is, through the word of mouth as well. So, yes, and I will be, because right now, my Your Coach Terri LLC, when you put in yourcoachterri.com, it'll link you right to the coaching packages. And it doesn't talk about me a lot, it just goes to the coaching packages. So, I will be updating my website so that everything I'm doing can be in one spot, including R.E.A.L.Talk Coaching and everything. So, yeah, I've been thinking about that. Thank you for that question. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and just make sure that you reach out to her directly. And I'm going to put that information back up on the screen so people can see how to reach out to both Coach Terri and Coach Tara. So, Coach Tara, it's your turn.
Well, I am so currently I am coaching mostly right now. Most of my coaching clients have been federal employees at all stages of their career, really just either looking to advance in their career or again just kind of use coaching to advance or move a space in their life. Moving forward and into 2026, though, I am developing a more STEM focused coaching program where I really want to support middle school children. So you all know, so I want to share with everyone, I am a lover of math. I love math. I think math is a universal language. I think everyone should love math. I think everyone could love math if they could just really see it in their everyday life. And see how it really is all around us. Numbers, patterns, sequences. It's all mathematical. It's all there. And so in 2026, I really want to move forward with getting into spaces of education so that I can really work with like middle school children who, get to that space in their education where math becomes less what they feel like is less arithmetic and more patterns, angles, letters, shapes, and really just kind of help to navigate that space, help to remove the anxiety around that, help young people to really see again that math is in everything that they do. It's in their phones, it's in the video games, it's in sports, it's in cooking, it's in skating, it's in ballet, it's in doing your hair, it's in everything. There is a mathematical component to everything that we do, and it really is a very universal language. And so, my goal, my dream, my vision is that everyone will love math. The anxieties around it will be removed, and people will see that it walks with them and they know it. When people are confident in math skills, I think that they are confident in other skills. I think it just builds an innate confidence in someone when you are no longer anxious when you see 7% or something like that, right? Because we see 10% off, like now, right now at the time everything is 15% off, 10% off, and we really do know what that means. We just don't think we know sometimes. So I really want to teach the world and to show all of us that it's everywhere and it's doable, and we don't have to have the anxiety around it. So in 2026, that is my goal. It is my goal to build a program where I can really engage with middle school, high school age students, and help remove any stigmas or any adverse feelings that they may have around math, and help them to succeed not only in math but in all other aspects that they have going on. Math might be the foundation of our coaching, but it'll definitely be a pathway to open up the dialogue and open up conversation for just growth. Them seeing themselves in their future, them really dreaming big and dreaming outside of just what is tangible. So that's where I'm going in 2026.
Nice.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I know of at least two clients, both of them my granddaughters who are in middle school, who I would definitely refer to you as well as an organization that I connect you with in order to do those great things, because it is definitely needed. I think when at least when I was growing up, and probably when you all were growing up, it was like, and even now it's like, how to change a percentage to a decimal to a percentage, moving that decimal point to the left or to the right. Okay, I can do that. But then after that, like, what do I do, to move further? So I'm taking that fear from math and being able for them to embrace it and understand that it's everywhere. It is really everywhere for us to learn and to grow with that. So we have about 12 minutes according to my clock. And I want to talk about what is in the future, or what do you all see in the future? I know we had a nice little retreat the other day, but what is it that you see for the future of Real Talk Coaching? So I'm going to go to you, Coach Tara, and ask you.
I see real conversation, right? I see us tackling what is not only happening maybe in current events, but really thinking and talking through experiences. I see us really taking charge and talking about some complicated topics, whether it be, whether it be authenticity, whether it be fear, which are some topics that we already currently have podcasts out about. So please check those out on the Real Talk Coach podcast. Or just even thinking about, advocacy moving forward, and what that might look like in different spaces. What does it mean to maybe be active, and to be an activist in certain spaces, and really and see that I see Real Talk Coaching really being providing a service, providing conversation amongst the three of us and our guests that will then propel into people's living rooms and around dining room tables. I see us talking, having conversations that will spark new ideas, that will spark community growth, that will build communities. I think a big thing about when we developed Real Talk Coaching was the fact that we had built a community and we understood the significance of what we had built. Having that safe space for people to come in and be themselves, to have a good time, to share resources, to share information, to even cry together sometimes. We cried together, we celebrated together, we laughed together. Um, we shared together, we created a space where people could grow and build and face their fears even. And I see that for Real Talk Coaching moving forward. I feel like we will continue to be that space that allows people to face anxiety, to reimagine what they where they want to go and how they want to get there. And I really see as being that, as Coach Terri says, that living room conversation. We're sitting around and we're engaging with our guests and we're having conversation that you would have with your aunt, your cousin, your grandma, your neighbor next door, right? And just being open and authentic and really sharing. So, and I also hope that the audience, will also engage with us and let us know what you would like to hear us talk about, or bring, to the Real Talk Coaching setting, so that again we can be of service. Because at the end of the day, we want to just build community, and we want people to know that there is a safe space. There is a place where you can come and you can kind of lay your burdens bare. And then once you do that, you can then use what you have, your abilities to then move forward, into, I don't want to keep saying reimagine, but I will. Excuse me, reimagine everything about life and what you have going
But that's what we do. That's what we do. Reimagine. I mean, that's why we are here in this space right now,
on.
because we reimagined what what we thought was, because we actually came together because we were angry.
Oh yeah.
we were angry about what was going on and
Mhm.
wanted to do something. And because of the space we were in, we knew that at that time it was limited on what we really could do. So we did what we could, and now look where we are now.
Mhm.
You know, doing things that we wouldn't have thought or imagined. I know I didn't imagine Real Talk Coaching in January 1st or even April 1st, you know.
No.
And then, to say that, yeah, I look forward to retiring. I knew exactly the date I was gonna be eligible to retire. I also was like, oh, I might stay a couple of more years. I don't know. And then everything happened. And so, being able to walk away, um, not forced, I wasn't forced, but just walking away from things I was really enjoying. I was really enjoying the space that we were in because it was so relaxing. Everybody was just getting along and learning about each other. I'm learning about other cultures by the with the groups that we were participating in, and being able to connect with so many people. COVID really allowed us to, move across the country because we had to meet virtually with people.
Mhm.
And it wasn't that over the phone. You actually got to see who people were and have real conversations with them. And then everything happened. But that didn't stop us. It actually propelled us.
Mhm.
So, Coach Terri, you talked about those um, 300, 400, maybe 500,000 women, and how you're going to help them propel. They're reimagining, helping them propel to the new heights that they're going to be in. So I want to hear from you also about where do you see, or what do you see for Real Talk Coaching as we move forward?
You know what? I see it as recreating the village that we were in. You know, when you talk about the groups that we were in, you know, the diversity, the inclusivity, you know, it was, I miss that. That
Mhm.
was probably the best thing, you know, about where we were, and just the wonderful people that we worked with. You know, when to leave is kind of like leaving your family, right? And so that's what I want to bring back, you know, bring back the humanity to who we are, and the fact that we need each other. We need each other, not just now, but we need each other through the good times and the bad times, you know, and I just want to bring back the village.
Mm. Yeah, that y'all have to talk to us individually to know what the village is, because we we had a village, and that village looked out for each other. We looked out for everybody that was in our village and outside our village, and I truly appreciated that, because when I came to the village, I was just like peeking in. Like I was like, let me see what this village is all about. I don't know. I'm just gonna stand back a little bit, but I just got. You can't help but getting brought into the village. You couldn't help. You couldn't help it. You were just gonna be part of it no matter what. And um, and that was a great thing. And I really appreciate the villages that were created in those spaces at that time, because still connecting with people, still being able to learn and grow from that
Yeah.
spot. So, as we get ready to close out this segment of the Royal Nugget, Coach Terri, what nugget would you like to leave with our listeners?
You know that I would like to say that it's okay to try new things. And I say that, and I mean that with all of the weight that's carried with, because never would I put myself out here. Never would I put myself out here and said how angry I am. Never would I put myself out here and said I want to do something to better the world, right? I want to do something to leave a legacy to my grandkids. I want to do something to honor my ancestors. I want to do something to make God proud, and I want to do something that makes me understand, like I said, when I'm 90 years old, now, when it was time to take a stand to do something, I did it. And so you can do that too.
Coach Tara?
Everybody needs a village, right? We all need a village. We are not innately, we need others. We need safe spaces. We need diverse ideas. We need different experiences. Um, so find your village, create a village if it doesn't exist. Join our village, join Real Talk Coaching. Come be a part of our podcast, engage with us. We want to hear from you. We want to be of support. We want to be champions. We want to ask you those questions that move you past everything is okay, and really digging into why is it okay? Why are you so happy? What is making it great? And how do you keep that going? How do you continue that? How do you carry that with you? Um, Irregardless of what may be happening that is outside of your control.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who joined us this evening, and those of you that are listening to this recording. Thank you so much for being with us in this time. I appreciate all of you and all that you were able to provide for us today. I look forward to 2026 and being part of the village with you and going down this journey continually. I also look forward to what's coming up for the Royal Nugget and Royalty Business Group as we move forward into 2026. So make sure that you are subscribing and liking and sharing this um, YouTube channel, as well as Real Talk Coaching. And Coach Terri,
And
your
rising. forward with your coach Terri. But I just wanted to say something. You
Yes.
know, if you thought this, you know, this episode or was great, it's unfortunate that you won't be able to look at the backstory once once we get off live. But no,
That's really,
this
really
was
fun.
great. Thank you so much for having us, Coach
Yes, thank you
Sharon.
for having us, Coach
Oh
Sharon.
no, it was my pleasure, my pleasure. And we started to get a little bit towards the end about the back. You know, we started talking a little bit like how we usually do it back, but we were more professional during the beginning of it. But it's okay. It's okay because one day we're going to record a snippet of that back, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, they like what?" So you know, you gotta have to come. You all gonna have to just stay tuned and just
Mhm.
follow us on LinkedIn, all the social media platforms. You'll find us. And as we continue to grow, you will grow. And as you grow, we're going to grow because we're learning from you. We're all taking this journey together. So, again, thank you all so much for being part of our village and happy holidays to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.